YouTubers and Vault Dwellers alike, good evening. My name is Joshua E.B. Smith. I am a self-published fantasy horror author, and I also write content articles for various websites and blogs, including the gaming website GamersDecide.com. I have an upcoming article with them on Fallout 76 and the top 10 weapons to use to blow up your enemies. And well, this is a kind of article that requires a video, so here it is. This list is going to have 10 items on it. Some are popular, some are not. One's a little bit odd, and that's saying something even for Fallout 76. As you watch this video, I'll be going over what the weapons are in brief, what they slot in, what type they are, what ammo they take, and you'll be able to see snippets of this video in my upcoming article on GamersDecide.com later this quarter. Alright, in addition to that, I should note I am wearing power armor. Specifically, I'm wearing I forgot the name of it is. It's the reward from the most recent scoreboard. So have fun in the casino is all I can say with that. I am using a heavy armor or heavy gun build. So I have things like Grenader for explosive detonates with twice the radius, Demolition Expert, and other things. So the size of my explosions may vary. Also, the damage you'll see in my weapons, including number 3 on the list, is going to be wildly different than what you would normally see. With all of that said, let's start with our number 1 item on this list, and that's going to be the Molotov Cocktail. I've only got one left of these, so you're going to see it once and seeing it used. It does fire damage and damage over time from Russia with love. And it is very simple to make. You don't actually have to know the recipe. You start the game with it. Activating grenade and yeet. And boom. Instant gratification fire damage. Is useful when you're trying to tag large groups of enemies, but not necessarily kill them outright if you are working in a group and letting everybody get a tag in. The second weapon on this list is going to be the one, the only, the Grand Finale. This is a named broadsider. Does a 2-shot weapon, uses cannonballs for ammunition, so if you are going to use it, you will probably want to have the Ordnance Express perk card on. You can see the other damage stats on top. The main thing that with this one, though, as you can imagine, fireworks. But as this is an explosive weapon, it does wipe out a large area all at once. So I'm going to have to boom. We're just booming. All right. I'm going to ignore these nice people shooting at me long enough to bring up the next 2 weapons. The Nuka Grenade at number 8 and the Boomstick at number 7. Don't worry about it. I can take the damage. Nuka Grenade is a... well, maybe I can take the damage. The Nuka Grenade is a grenade, of course. Simple combined, uses Nuka-Cola, frag grenades, and really, that's almost about it. But this wool miner is not being kind, so let me just... did I equip it? Yes. This one does make a very big boom, so be advised, it's not something you want to use in a public scenario very often, just because spamming it can really upset people, and it's not unreasonable that they would be. 2 booms, there you go. Like I blew up a car. This is not new. Alright, now somewhere out there, I did just get tagged again by another bullet, by another mole miner. We'll find him in a moment, but next weapon on the list, number 7. Please welcome to the Boomstick, with the Adams Cats paints on it just for good measure. This is a 2-shot rocket launcher using default missiles. Fire rate mode is automatic, and it's got a bonus if you're aiming. I'll let you really need to with this. Using VATS with this, you'll be able to see how well it handles. But first, we have to find somebody to shoot at. And lucky us, there we go right now. Not always the best. But it is a rocket launcher. It does do damage, and it fires in a fairly rangeful line. So as you can see, boom. Blows them all away. No muss, no fuss. Just simple problem solved. Alright. Number 6 on our list is not an actual explosive weapon per se, as it is so much hidden. I have lost where I put it. Looking for it right there. There we go. The Foundation's Vengeance is a 5mm minigun, but the bullets explode as you use them. So, here is the Foundation's Vengeance in action. As you can see, with Grenader maxed out, the explosion size on this is huge. Again, this makes it a very useful tagging weapon for just hitting things, getting experience from them, and outright blowing them up while getting kills at the same time. Very simple, very effective, and as it is not an actual explosive weapon itself, well, you can see how easy it is to fire. And the downside, though, it is not the most damage out of anything in my arsenal, I'm afraid. I do love using it in a lot of situations where I'm just interested in tagging away. The next item is another grenade, and this one is outdoor use only, specifically because it only works in outdoor environments. It is the Orbital Strike Beacon, and it itself doesn't really blow up. It has been thrown. You notice those lasers up there, they are signaling to an overhead orbiting platform that, well, nothing else needs to be said, does it? Bye. The Orbital Strike Beacon is rewarded through the main quest line, so as you're playing through the game and you complete the Enclave quest series, you'll have a chance to pick that up. I didn't kill anybody I liked. Alright, so that is number 5. Coming up at number 4 is a weapon that lives up to its name, and that's going to be the Overkill. The Overkill is a 2-shot mini nuke launcher using, well, mini nukes. It also comes with the MERV effect, which means that it splits up for 5 additional shells per shot. So technically you're looking at about 10 mini nukes in a single blast. This is actually going to be fun because I'm not entirely confident that this recording will not crash my computer. We are going to scoot over down this way. As you can see, it's got a nice, huge look to it. As I try to remember where the next batch of bad guys are, and there they are, just sitting over there waiting for me. Let's jump up a bit and reloading. And again, this is the Overkill 2-shot mini nuke. Shooting straight up in the air does seem to get a lot more damage out of this in one round. I don't know what more I can say about it. Again, this is a weapon that if you do use it, please only use it when playing solo. It is a great weapon to grief people with, and griefing people, really, we can all do better than that. Alright, I do need to drop some things because we need to move on. Dropping the mini nukes just to get them out of inventory so I can actually stand to move again. Our next weapon is going to be one that is, well, it's going to confuse some people for being on this list. It is the Fixer. Now, looking for a reasonable spot that's more or less wide open with plenty of bad guys present. I mean, it's not like there's any shortage of bad guys in Fallout 76. We are going to pop down to the Seneca Rocks Visitor Center, where there's usually 1 or 2 people hanging around, if you can call them that. The reason why this weapon is going to be on my list is because when it has the explosive effect, it becomes an explosive weapon. I mean, it's there in the name. And like other ballistic weapons with an explosive effect to it, it becomes a very useful, very helpful tagging weapon. So, bullets on this one explode for 20% weapon damage. I'm not using Rifleman and I'm not using Commando perk cards, so the damage is going to look a little bit low. You will have to bear with me on this. The weapon that follows it, again, is going to be another ballistic weapon. So keep that in mind. It's going to be a family of 4. But first, we have to find some bad guys around here to put out, I don't want to say quite put out of their misery, but put out of their misery. Alright, scoped in. And you can see just the explosive factor of it. Doesn't do the most damage in the world. And that was all the bullets I had for the Fixer. Coming up next, though, is the Gauss family of weapons. This, on the other hand, the explosions for the Gauss weapons were increased when they allowed the Grenader perk to work on them, so you get an increase on the explosion radius. That giant blue fireball you're seeing holds true for all of the Gauss weapons. In this case, currently using the Zealot's Poker Prime Gauss minigun with the poker paint on it. Bullets explode for 15% weapon damage, which is not a lot until you see how fast it fires for the minigun. Boom. It was there, then it wasn't. It's really hard to argue with the effectiveness of this particular weapon. All of the Gauss weapons are insanely powerful, whether it's the Gauss pistol, the Gauss shotgun, the Gauss rifle, or my favorite, the Gauss minigun. Finally on our list for today is going to be the Nuka Launcher. This is a 2-shot automatic grenade launcher, and if that's not enough to tell you, wow, I don't know what is. One thing I do want to keep in mind, this weapon is not currently available, so if you missed your chance to get it last year, I don't know when you'll get it back. Bethesda's been slowly adding older weapons into the Atom Shop and into some of the vendors for stamps or gold bullion, so you will hopefully get a chance. If you do not, make sure you pick up a 2-shot auto grenade launcher. Why? Well, let me demonstrate without knocking my mouse away. The Nuka Launcher can lay down sustained fire, rapid fire, mass explosions, and can completely pacify an area with absolutely no problems, no concerns, no muss, no fuss, no worries. Point in the general direction of something you don't want to be there anymore, and it will make that thing not be there anymore. When it comes to laying down firepower, it is by far and above the fastest firing explosive weapon that is a pure explosive weapon. Foundation's Vengeance and the Gauss minigun excluded from that list. For my personal preference, I love taking it over to somewhere like Sunrise Field. Now, again, this weapon does have a couple of drawbacks. It breaks relatively quickly, so make sure you have repair kits on you if you intend on using it for sustained firepower. As you can see, the explosives on this thing are huge. They can be a griefing weapon if used improperly. The only time I really bust it out in the middle of a public event or a daily ops is if the bad guys have the reflective mutation on them, which itself is enough of an inconvenience to make it worth it. But boom. And one last time, this is the Nuka Launcher, 2-shot auto grenade launcher. Does extra damage to mole miners as well. And it is useful in situations where you know there's a bad guy, but you don't quite see her until you get her attention. And then the bad guy goes away. What more could you possibly want? Ladies and gentlemen, and Vault Dwellers alike, my name is Josh. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you had a good time, and I do hope you'll enjoy this article later on Gamers Decide.